Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Deckin Around Kickstarter Edition. Today, we're going to be taking a look at any decks that have funded in the past 7 days, any decks that are going to end their round of funding in the next week, and any decks that are new to Kickstarter in the past 7 days. Before we jump into it, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel.
And ring the bell.
Thank you to our sponsors for this episode of Deckin Around Kickstarter Edition. Introducing the Latin Quarter playing cards and gaming chips from McClure and Stark. This ultimate poker player's chipset will turn every poker night into an underground casino night. Make sure to check them out on Kickstarter now.
Marvelous decks, masterfully crafted, meticulously recreated with a specialized printing process that utilizes multiple holographic foils and sculpted embossing. No compromises were made when recreating these feathers at a zoomed-in scale. Pre-sale starts 9/26/2020. Stay tuned for remaining details. MarvelousDecks.com or Marvelous Decks on Instagram.
So we have a pretty big week here with Kickstarter, so let's dive right into it. First off, congratulations to Love Pose Minimalist Design Love Pose playing cards for funding. Congratulations to Gourmet playing cards for funding. Congratulations to Hello Tiki V3 playing cards for funding. Congratulations to Printed playing cards. Congratulations to Flatline playing cards. Galactic Paradise playing cards. And ending in the next day, we have the in-session playing cards freshman year. If you haven't backed this deck yet, definitely go check it out. Amazing deck, worth checking out for sure. Next up, ending this week, we have the Big Brother, a custom foiled deck. We have the CC Club playing cards.
Yeah.
The V-Dragon transparent playing cards. The Timeline playing cards. The Aigo playing cards, Learn Japanese. And let's see what we got new this week. First up, we have the Oxalis playing cards.
This is a redo.
Yep, so this is actually a second launch for this deck, which they redesigned after some community feedback, which I think is phenomenal. First off the bat, I do remember this had a higher price point, but I think they brought that down significantly. $20 shipped from, I think it was 32 shipped before, for a USPCC printed limited run deck with foil on the top. That's a steal of a deal there. This deck is...
I love the fact that they actually took advice,
Yeah.
and now looking at this deck, it does not look like a mint version 3.
Exactly.
So big props to you guys over at Oxalis. I'm glad you guys did that.
And I think the fact that they listened to the, putting the printer in the campaign, like subtitle there.
Yeah.
You look at this first image, limited to 900, printed by USPCC, Gambler's Fulfillment. You literally could look at this picture and know all the pertinent information and then go from there. The other cool thing I think about it is if you look at this campaign, right from here to the top, you get all of the information you really need to make a decision whether or not this is a deck you want to back. Everything else is just icing on the cake with more detail and more visualizations to see everything included with this deck. But they really made sure to have that summary section up top, which is so important. Also, I'm super excited to see them collaborate with Lautrec on this signature edition tuck. Looks spectacular.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, what that is.
Yeah. So good luck to you guys on this campaign. Really glad to see that you took the community feedback and turned it into a deck that I think, everyone is going to be interested in. I mean, I think we can already see that with the goal being almost completely funded versus last time them really struggling to meet that goal. So it goes to show how important listening to the community and listening to the people you're trying to get to back you is, because they are ultimately making the decision as to whether or not you get funded.
Yeah, I mean, they got 28 days to go. It's plenty of time. The only thing I would definitely like to see is a little bit more cohesion throughout the images. They're kind of all over the place, and that's just me being picky about photos.
Yeah, use your pictures to tell a story. I think it makes sense. Just like words, pictures can tell a meaningful and moving story if you play them out correctly. So, but good luck on this, guys. Congratulations on the amazing start so far. Next up, we have the card music tips on your waterproof deck.
Why is that R lowercase? I don't understand.
I don't know either.
It's for like music, maybe?
Maybe.
Kind of.
So I think this is something we're seeing based off of the fact that there's been a lot of areas like niche specific decks that have been trying to launch after the Kickstarter or after the photography deck did so well on Kickstarter. I wouldn't be surprised if this is kind of trying to play on the momentum of that.
Yeah,
One thing that really stands out to me is there's just a ton of like unused space in this, which makes it like not even
it's very
uncomfortable to
hard to
read.
read.
Yeah, it's just not like I don't like care to scroll
Yeah,
down because I'm like, am I at the end? Is this the end? What? Okay. Something like that I wouldn't normally nitpick on, but I think spacing when it's this out of proportion makes a difference. Make sure to take that into consideration when you're working on images. Um, I like the idea of the deck. I think it's a little bit rudimentary. It's a one-way back design. But again, for what the purpose is, teaching people most common chords, tuning guitar songs, and hard chords, like interesting. I don't know what.
nobody's going to use it though.
Yeah, I don't know. In this day and age, where you could learn that probably a little easier off of YouTube, I don't know what the demand for this is going to be
I
because
mean, there's apps that you can use that you can learn all that stuff, and it's a lot easier because it actually has the sound coming out of your phone that you can tune your guitar in and stuff like that. I
yeah,
understand if you're a fan of music and you play guitar, then you might just get it just for the sake of getting it. That goal at the stretch goal, if you look at it,
yeah, it's crazy
kind of
high.
what you were talking about, that $100,000 stretch goal. That's
Yeah.
kind of like someone definitely paid attention to that photography deck and is running with it.
Also, a guitar pick for $100,000 is a is a high goal. Like you got to be a little more realistic about what your goals are going to be. That's like a $10,000 goal, not a $100,000 goal.
Yeah,
I do like the use of the timeline though. It's something we see in more Kickstarters than the playing card community Kickstarters. It's something that I think would be great to see integrated. But again, just too much white space between a lot of this. Like something to consider. I don't know if this was designed with the idea of mobile in mind, but even on mobile, it would just be too
too much.
yeah, too much. Production, photos of the facility, fulfillment. So no mention as to who's fulfilling. Even if you're self-fulfilling, put it in there. You show pictures of the facility, mention their name. Do them a service. If they do a good job for you, you want to give them a little bit of visibility as well. Mention who the
Yeah.
company is. I think it's worthwhile. But otherwise, good
How much
luck.
we got on price?
Price is 21 shipped, so higher
It's
than
a
what
little
I yeah.
high, and it says save 40%. They're trying to say that
Yeah,
thing's going to be 28 euros.
That's a lot. I'd say
That's a lot more.
ultimately this is a $13 deck, 18 shipped max.
Yeah, I
In
agree.
reality, if you're trying to make it an everyday carry deck, you need to be at that $12, $13 price point. Not it. But good luck. Good luck on the campaign. Good luck with the stretch goal. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Next up, we have the Quick Draw Co. Sandbag Edition playing cards, which has already crushed its goal, funded in 45 minutes.
Yeah, dude, 514 backers.
Yeah. So this deck is from two former Royal Marine Commandos. I
That's
think
cool.
it's really interesting the way they put this all together. I think it's meant to kind of, they mention here that it's meant to kind of bring a little bit of joy back to people suffering with PTSD, just not just in the
Amazing.
UK but all over the world. It's a good drive behind it.
Love it.
I love the artwork. I think it's very like comic book esque. It also reminds me of like what you'd see in like a GI Joe comic or something. Like I
Yeah,
love
for
that.
sure. No, definitely comic based for sure.
Yeah, it's got a good vibe to it. What are they looking at?
I dig it, man. How
Yeah,
much is it?
23 shipped on the first, which is a
A
little
little high.
high, a little high. If you go for
But
two,
it's 100% custom, which at least lends to that a little bit better, but it is a little bit pricey.
yeah. And I think you get into the two decks, it brings it down to 1850 a deck. I feel like there's probably a little wiggle room where they might have been able to bring this back down to like 21 maybe, and it would have been a little more. But again, interesting to see. Printed
All the
by yeah,
information is
right
there.
here.
Printed by Ivory and Cambridge.
Yeah.
All orders fulfilled by independent company. OFX. That's
So
awesome.
the one thing I'd say is maybe move that up to the top as well, so it's easier to
Yeah.
immediately see it. I love this shirt. Again, also with you guys with Quick Draw here, when you guys fund, let me know how you did with the merch. I'm always curious to see how people do with the shirts and things like that. Did you find that it was worthwhile to put it on? It's always information we're interested to see. I
That's their
love
back design, right? On the back of the shirt.
yes.
Here's my thing. I mean, I guess it's marine based. Okay, I'm done. I was going to
So
ask something, but I just answered
I
my
like
own
the
question.
prints. I love the way this really is built
Yeah,
out very well. You
they
guys did a really
they
good
have
job.
all the information there. This is super cool how they added that and
I like this too.
purple
Yeah,
hearts and stuff like that. Yeah,
ties people in. If
that's
all of
cool.
our achievements are unlocked, you will get a custom gift from us. Like this makes it fun and interactive in a way that doesn't mean
Yeah,
people have to spend money to get more out of the campaign, which I think is a brilliant idea. So good luck to you guys on this one.
yeah.
I think you're gonna do great with it.
I mean, they already did.
Yeah. Next up, we have the Katas Almanac transformation playing cards from Will Roya. This will be a quick one. Will crushes his campaigns all the time.
Always has the right information. He fulfills himself.
Looks beautiful.
Um,
Has
Ton of
yeah.
information in there.
I mean, there really is. He tells the history behind the deck, the style behind it. The one thing I would say is we're about a quarter to a third of the way down before we see the information like this. I'd say duplicate it, put it up top as well. I think people do want to know, especially when you have so much to ingest. You want to make
Right.
sure that people don't miss this. Printed by USPCC on classic stock. Again, fulfilled by Will. We know that. Wouldn't hurt to put it in there, even though, I think a lot of people who are backing this are familiar with it. Never hurts for new people to know who's going to be shipping it. They may not know Will owns a playing card store, and so they may not know he has the capability of fulfilling himself. It never hurts
Right.
to add that information in there. Yeah, this is a good looking deck. And here's the thing that I love about it too. $14 shipped. $14
Yeah.
shipped for a fully custom deck with seals. Obviously, this is geared towards collectors, but it's spot on price point wise. You can't go wrong at $14 shipped.
Yeah.
Good
Good
luck,
luck, man.
Will. Next up, we have the Aether playing cards by Riffle
This is
Shuffle.
this is gonna be pretty quick as well. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, these guys, Kevin Yu and the Cod Mafia, they just put out so many campaigns and they crush it every single time.
Yeah.
They have all the information in there. This tuck box is gorgeous with hollow foil right on the tuck box. The whole inside of the tuck box is foil, and you take a price that they got. What do they have over here?
$18 shipped.
18
Yeah.
shipped for a holographic foil tuck. So anybody who is putting together these decks and they're saying that hollow foil automatically adds, puts the deck at $35, then it's like
Riffle Shuffle's
clearly
here to
that's not
prove
the
you
case.
wrong. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
for
It's
anyone new to the scene who's looking to do a deck, Riffle Shuffle is a great model to build off of. The one thing I will say here though too is a summarized bullet point section at the top just to bring this data up or this information up to the front about it being printed by USPCC and fulfilled by gamblers. Never hurts. Again, I think people like succinct information, and I want to see more people getting into the whole idea of bullet points at the top so you get all of that information in the beginning. It allows you to almost have like a quick cheat sheet to say, do I care about this deck? Yes or no. Let me go further if I do. Yeah.
good luck, man.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Good luck, Kevin.
You need to model by anybody. Like,
Yeah,
look at
Riffle Shuffle's the man, yeah.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the Legacy of Legerdemain playing cards. So from what I can see so far, single deck, a little bit of a high goal there, maybe.
Definitely a high goal. It looks like an out of play deck.
It kind of does look like an art to play deck. Interesting though too, like with the smaller indices and pips on it. But I do like the fact that out the gate, here we go, cards produced by USPCC using their Thin Crush stock, fulfilled by Mike's Minneapolis-based design studio. So again, here's a perfect example of someone who's going to be self-fulfilling and make sure to mention it in the beginning. It's worthwhile to mention. People now know who's fulfilling. The Thin Crush
deck,
probably
$11 too.
Dude, and that's 16
So good.
Can't go wrong with that. Yeah, for a fully custom deck.
Yeah.
The art tells the story of it. Obviously, it's a history of magic deck. It really does a good job with that. I think the one thing I would say is the goal's probably higher because they're doing Thin Crush, which means they have a higher minimum order quantity. I'd probably want to see that though somewhere around like the 8 to 9 mark versus a 12. 12's a little high. But with 27 days to go and what looks to be some pretty good momentum behind it, they should do all right. The one thing I will say too is I haven't seen this deck yet. So Mike, I'd say while you probably have a good social media backing for your graphic design, start playing into the playing card community and the Magic community so you can get more momentum there as well, because that's where you're going to see that last push of funding coming from, is within those communities, because I think this is a deck of cards that would appeal to a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at just the way he said, it's being printed by USPCC on this legendary buttery finish, he kind of knows a little bit about the lingo in the card community. So, I think getting the deck out there would definitely be beneficial because I think a lot of people would dig the deck.
Yeah, so good
It
luck,
kind of
Mike.
reminds me of the Seekers deck actually from Artist Play.
Yeah, a little bit. Good luck,
Yeah,
Mike.
good luck.
Next up, we have the Jackalope playing cards.
Dude, this deck is so cool.
I do like the artwork on this.
Yeah, the deck is really cool. It's just missing a lot of information.
Yeah, I think, the two things to touch on here is more visibility into the courts. You touch on the fact that you weren't a fan of court faces and you designed your own. Show off what you designed. We want to see it. The Ace of
Yeah,
Spades, I think it looks dope. I love the back design. And the price point at $11 a deck is phenomenal. I think
$11 shipped.
yeah,
That's
shipped.
crazy.
I think the problem though is who's printing it, where's it being fulfilled from? All of these kind of questions come into play. The reason that's
Yeah,
a concern, especially for a new creator, is if you're shipping a deck for $11, are you factoring in shipping prices? Is this deck going to get, if this deck gets funded, is it going to actually land to people's houses? Because shipping's not
yeah,
cheap. I think that's one thing a lot of people may not consider. So, Matt, definitely make sure to throw some more information on here. I like the deck. I think there's a lot of potential behind it. So, give us the
yeah,
details, man.
yeah.
Good luck. Next up, we have the Oda Bayajoku playing cards. This is another quick one here. Jokyu crushes it. They just recently had their Hops and Barley. They fulfilled their Green Man playing cards. We actually just did a deck specs on the Green Mans not too long ago. You can see that over here. Oda knows what they're doing. I mean, this is an awesome looking deck. If you take a look at the price point here, you're at $21 for a foiled tuck and a fully custom deck. They're just entering into that range where that price point is reasonable for what they're offering with the deck, but they're not going too far into it, which I think is great. This back design with this koi, oh,
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
just
the
gorgeous.
only thing that I would say about it, and it's not like a problem with the campaign, for me, I would love to see that koi back design
In the
in
white,
that white,
with
in
the,
the
yeah.
white. Yeah, because for me, I'm just not a huge fan of that full bleed color on the back of decks or the front of decks because it just once you stop playing with them, it just makes them look like trash and because they chip and stuff like that. But other than that, both of these decks are beautiful. Joku does amazing work. What's the price point on it?
$21.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
I
the other
mean,
thing I would say about it too, though, is they touch on the shipping right there, which I think is perfect. But the one interesting thing to me is this project is EU friendly and all backers will receive their rewards from Italy. Are you self shipping from Italy or are you using a fulfillment company? I'd say shout out the fulfillment company. I think it's worth making note of who you're using in these scenarios because it helps other
give them credit.
creators. Yeah, give them
Yeah,
credit, get them more business when other creators are looking to do it. And if you're
yeah,
self-fulfilling, again, it's an opportunity to say, "Hey, we've had 4 successful campaigns and we are self-fulfilling." So you know that it's
right,
going to land at your door.
right.
Otherwise, crushed it here with Jokyu. Touching on all
Good
their
luck.
social media here, also important. And yeah, good luck, guys. You did a phenomenal job. Can't wait to see this deck come to fruition. Next up, we have the Satellite playing cards by Katie Morris and Canvas
Katie,
Cards. Yeah.
her
So
first deck crushing it.
absolutely crushing. I mean, look at that. Already double the goal for the most part. We we've kind of been following this deck for a while since it started. It is such a great looking deck. Katie
Yeah,
tells a
man,
great
it's
story from the
beautiful.
jump there. 9 cards 52. The deck looks awesome. We talked about this on the plug not too long ago, so make sure to check that out up here. Get all the details behind why Katie created this deck, what it's all about, and just it's such an amazing looking deck.
Yeah,
Um,
what's the price on it?
the price on it is 20 shipped, so it hits
Nice.
the high end of the price point. I'd say ultimately sub 20 would be best for something that is a um yes, custom backs and not even semi-custom.
I mean, it's 100% custom backs,
Yeah,
literally 52 different
and I
designs.
do love the big aces, but the courts I think are
Yeah,
relatively standard other than some pip recoloration there. So that 18 to 20 mark is probably the ideal range, 20 being the cap of it, but sub 20 I think has a little more momentum behind it. That being said, I think early birds on it were relatively cheap and sold out quick. So $12
yeah.
versus 15. So yeah, you would have had it at
Who's
17.
fulfilling?
Uh
Would be cool to see that a little up top, a little more close to the top, so we can see what the deal is.
Yeah.
Half brick box, add content right
Printed by
there.
USPCC, fulfilled by Gambler's
Gamblers,
Warehouse.
cool.
Printed on their. So that's the other thing too. Aim to print 1,000 decks on crushed stock. So that's one area
That's not
that.
going to happen.
Yeah, so you need to confirm with that one just because crushed stock minimum order quantities have gone up to 2,500. So anything below that is going to require standard stock. It may be that crushed stock is a goal, or a stretch goal, but something to touch on as well.
Doesn't have anything yet.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're planning on printing 1,000,
Going to be standard stock, yeah.
Definitely won't be crushed.
The other thing is, too, just in general, stretch goals. I mean, obviously, momentum's always good, and I think Katie built some pretty good momentum behind this, but having stretch goals, even if they're non-card related, because you are big in the cardistry community, you could be a tutorial just for backers, something like that. Something to have an added incentive to continue that momentum there is ideal. I mean, I think you did a great job with the photography. You did a great job with the backing of it. You really showed off everything you needed to show, but those two things are, yeah.
I think it's great. I think having an add-on, I think is always cool, or a stretch goal, or is always cool. But I don't think it's neat. I think sometimes everybody feels like they have to have an add-on or a stretch goal, but what it comes down to is she just wants to sell a deck of cards.
So statistically speaking, Kickstarters with stretch goals do significantly better than those without. Just throwing that out there.
No, of course, but obviously it's more work, and I think her main goal is to just sell her deck. I don't think she cares about all that other stuff.
Yeah, but you want the deck to be as successful as possible, and I think ultimately it's something like a tutorial that she probably would have done anyway. That's exclusive.
No, for sure. Yeah, that is definitely better than a product for sure.
I don't think on the product
so much talent, and she can throw that into a like you said, a PDF or a video or something like that.
So that being said, stretch goals do not have to be deck related; they can be theme related. So keep that in mind. But Katie, you're crushing it. Good luck with it. Love the deck. Next up,
what would be really cool for her is to do like an art print or something, because she's an artist. I think it'd be cool to do like some prints of those back designs. Would be pretty epic.
Yeah, maybe. So next up, we have the Vermillion playing cards, printed by USPCC, fulfilled by Gambler's Warehouse. I'm gonna say right there, perfect on the subtitle. Yeah, Darren. I'm guessing you watched the show. Glad to see that you have it in the subtitle.
I'm not giving these guys any way to chop up my
dude, and I think it's worthwhile. Listen, those subtitles are there for a reason. Use them. We so often see people not even use them. Like, put something valuable in there. Awesome job with that. Reasonable goal on the deck.
You made Tyler happy, Darren.
And look at this. $15 shipped. Perfect.
Awesome.
Like, spot on, man. The campaign's eye-catching for sure.
Let me guess. Is this a Vegas style deck?
And look at that specs right there, printed by USPCC, fulfillment. So within the first 30 seconds on this, you've already seen twice who's printing, who's fulfilling. This is the truth of it. You look at any good marketing; they always say something 3 times, and it sticks with people. Mentioning it in there so people can see it as early as possible is going to make it stick with them. Premium B stock, traditional cut. Darren being a bit of a magician, not surprised by the traditional cut. Yeah, it's definitely, if this is your style and you're into casino decks, this is a steal of a deck at $15.
Yeah, for sure.
What is the prototype?
Joey Bravo.
And I like the slight recoloring to the quartz. It's not too overly done.
Yeah, just it's a little too red for me, but I'm not a fan of red.
And yeah, this is the one thing I would say, and I get with the idea that the deck is called the Vermillion deck, so Vermillion being a shade of red. The red on both quartz, without any other contrasting colors, does make them look a little bit similar. Not in a bad way necessarily, but at quick glance, you may not know what king it is unless you're looking at the indices and pips. The indices and pips are there exactly for that reason, though, so I don't know how much it matters. But to me, that is the one thing where, like, they're very similar in that sense. I also, though, don't know what you would have done as a contrasting color there for a red-themed deck. So
I think yellow. I think you could. Yeah, I mean, there's obviously.
Yeah,
you could have threw some yellow in there. It would have looked nice.
Yeah.
Stretch goals and
gilded edition.
He's
yes, a matching gilding.
Good job, Darren. Yes.
And a giveaway thrown in. There's the third time mentioning USPCC and Gamblers. Spot on.
Darren, crushed the campaign, dude. You've
Yeah,
got everything in there.
good job,
Perfect.
man.
Good job. Good
Looks
luck.
good.
Good
Next
luck, man.
up, we have the Fantasia Gold playing cards by Bond Lee Production.
Wait, isn't this? Didn't he do this again?
What?
Where have I seen this?
You showed it to me a couple days ago.
Oh, okay.
uh,
I'm like, wait a minute, where did I see this already? I already saw this.
So we had this discussion the other day a little bit just about the photographs. So to me, this has a very much a vibe of the grotesque deck for some reason. It just is very reminiscent of that.
Right.
Printed by Legends 25. Oh wait, in spring. Produced the font.
Yeah, the Fantastic Legend. Okay, deck was still
Okay.
done. Now we're about to present the second generation. Okay, absolutely.
Okay, so this deck has been done for. Okay, or a variation of this. So okay.
Good to know.
Okay, so Steve's not
good
going
to know.
crazy.
I'm not as crazy as I. Okay.
Oof, $22 shipped. A little high in spite of being foiled on the outside. Again, that 20 to 23 is the range. 22 hits it a little high. Maybe even up to 25.
It's full foil, though. It's full foil.
So, here's the thing, though. Is that foil?
Totally foil. Fantastic Gold card back. It looks like foil.
It looks like foil, but is this a render or a photo?
I mean, I think that's...
It looks like, it definitely looks foil because it looks like it's pressed in there. Okay, so we'll assume that it's foil until we see otherwise. Gold foil stamp.
Gold foil stamp,
okay, yeah. $22, more reasonable. That is a good looking
100% good price. That's 22 ship. That's perfect.
And I like the stylization of the pips and everything. Good looking deck. Shipping rates. Von Lee. Already mentioned who's printing. Did not, though, mention who's fulfilling. Am I correct in that?
I don't. Go down. Right. Down one more.
So actually, now that I think about it, they mentioned that the original was printed by Legends. I just made the assumption there that they were printing again with Legends.
Here, what's this say? Gold foil? Yeah, it doesn't say.
So those are the two things I would mention need to be added on here. Who is printing and shipped from Hong Kong base.
Hong Kong base.
So they're shipping themselves. Mention who the printer is, though, too. I'm assuming, again, making an assumption there that based on your first being through Legends, you're printing with Legends again. But who knows? You may have switched it up, so it's worth mentioning. Good looking deck.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck, Bon Lee Production.
God, such a cool name, Bon Lee.
We have Cutthroat Pirates playing cards and 7 Shuffles software. So this
kind of a creepy picture right there.
Okay. I don't really see that, but that's fine. It's 2 kids playing cards.
It's called Cutthroat, and there's 2 kids playing cards.
Cutthroat Pirates. Pirates are cutthroat, I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
Either way.
Software engineer.
So the idea behind this deck is that it's kind of a augmented reality to some extent. So the cards can also be used with software on your phone. I think it's more appealing towards the board game community necessarily than the playing card community. Printed by USP or by MPC, filled by gamblers, so they have the information there. What's the price point?
$5.
No. Name and special Kickstarter, free in game now. Swabby Satchel, all original name.
First of all, like you got to put the name of what it. Don't like these creative names are cool, but I don't want to have to read every single thing.
Early bird 1 deck. 17 shipped. Normal 1 deck, 20 shipped. So again, there's the idea that you're getting more behind this than just the cards. You're getting this software engine where you can play games along with it. So I think, there's some added value to it there to consider.
It definitely does look like it's kind of like a kid's game, it looks like.
Yeah, which is cool though. It's
definitely
a family-oriented
deck.
Yeah, it's a family-oriented deck, which I think is fine to see. We do see that from time to time. Not everything needs to be, crazy adult. I don't want to say adult-themed decks, but it doesn't have to be like crazy, like high-level art stuff. Like this is a fun deck. I think it has a fun vibe to it. The one area that we sometimes see from a design point of view that struggle a little bit is when you don't have people on the courts. Some people are partial to court cards that have human representations on them. That doesn't always, work. But otherwise, I think the campaign looks good from where it's at. So
yeah, I think everything's pretty good. Shipping.
Shipping from Gamblers, printed by NPC. Touches on everything it
Perfect.
needs. So yeah, good luck,
Good
Larry.
luck.
Next up, we have the
Larry.
and I somehow skipped over the pirate deck here. There's pirate decks next
Rain
to each other.
Vessel. Nice.
Rain Vessel pirate deck.
They've done these before, yeah?
Yeah, so this is a colored reprint.
Yeah.
So originally they did this, I think, in black and white.
The
So
Seven Seas Master
yeah.
Collection, right?
$16 shipped for a full custom deck, printed by USPCC, fulfilled by I don't know yet, but yeah, out the gate, giving you good specs there. Interesting card back. I know not your style, Steve, with the skulls, but it is what it is.
I mean, it's a pirate. You can't get around skulls when you're talking
No,
about
without a
pirates.
doubt, you can't. I do like the artwork too. Again, still
Yeah,
like
pretty cool.
not photorealistic, but really good looking design to it. Not a bad looking deck, and I like the kind of
Yeah,
like
pretty cool.
vintage feel to it. Diptych
That's
Jokers,
cool.
awesome.
Diptych, yeah.
Interesting gaff cards.
13,
Skeletal
nice.
version of the Ace of Hearts and a 13 of Spades. That's kind of cool. I like that.
Yeah. Cool.
Then they're talking
Color
about one of their
version.
other reprints, yeah. So
Who's fulfilling it? Gamblers, right?
it did not mention.
Got stretch goal. Doesn't say.
So yeah, no Gamblers. So it doesn't mention who's fulfilling.
Interesting. Watch
But okay, yeah, expanding our office to a shipping station, so they're shipping themselves.
Yeah, gotcha. Cool. Pennsylvania,
yeah.
right near you.
Yeah. Good luck.
Good
Rain
luck.
Vessel. It's a dope deck, so I'm sure it'll do well.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the Playing Arts artistic playing cards inspired by the future.
Right.
International artists were invited to illustrate their vision of what the world would look like 100 years from now.
Oh, this is
So
another
I've
version
seen-
of the Playing Arts deck. That's cool.
Yeah. So yeah, Digital Abstracts is doing this.
Cool.
They've done some. Yeah, they did some cool decks in the past. Augmented reality on this one, which is really pretty cool.
So you have an app that can kind of tweet. That's cool.
Yeah. You know, this is dope. What are we looking at price point wise? A little pricey. $24 shipped. Even with the augmented reality, that's not necessarily really functional in my book. It's not something that enhances the gameplay or anything like that. I do love the artwork, but I think this is
such a cool deck.
Yeah, I still think this is probably closer to like a $20.
Look at that queen.
Yeah, I think the $20 price point would have been a little bit better at this one. 24 is a little high.
Yeah.
But I wonder
cool
how
deck.
You know, it is a cool deck. I wonder how much of that though is shipping versus. So let's see, processed, augmented reality.
Playing card, USPCC.
Where what?
Coming in traditional poker side, USPCC.
So, and that's another thing too. I'd make that more prominent, and I'd put it up towards the top as per usual. Fulfillment. I don't see anything. So, whether you're self-fulfilling or fulfilling with someone else, again, I'd mention the information. I would definitely put the USPCC part printed up top because I think for a collector that makes a difference. Use the subtitle again, like we saw with some of the other stuff. Again, price point on the deck is a little bit high to me. $40 for 2 decks, so you have a savings on 2 versus 1, but like still $24. Yeah, hit or miss. Good luck though. What's the goal on this too? The goal's 44,998, so definitely a reasonable goal there.
Yeah, I dig it.
Yeah.
Good luck.
And next up, last up, we have the New Land Palace Casino playing cards. Oof, with a crazy high goal of $14,797.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
That is a lot.
Go up top for a sec. Playing cards is one flying cards seen it the same as casino. Okay. So it's a video game based thing.
Yeah. So replica of the playing card flying around. So here's my first question. You're using artwork from something else. Have you gotten the license for the use? Inspiration.
Especially a video game, man.
Yeah. Like that's one area of concern. Not so much from my end as a backer. I have no lost value if you don't get funded, but it would be a shame to see the campaign get shut down, which we saw recently for lack of licensing. So make sure you have that covered. And anyone who goes out there and says, oh, well, there's ways you can work around having to get licensing, that is a quick way to get your Kickstarter campaign shut down. Go through the proper channels if you're using any sort of copyrighted content to get licensing to ensure that you have a campaign that's successful. Touches on the details there. This is one thing that we sometimes see with like smaller printing houses where they include the size. I don't necessarily think the size matters. M31 linen casino grade paper, perfect for playing bridge, poker, and tycoon. I'd say that the thought behind this is not necessarily fully there in the research side of what the campaign should be showing off, just based on the information we're seeing so far.
Right.
Information's new to Kickstarter. If you played, okay, so no information as to who's printing.
If you missed the campaign, I might add a few more decks on Etsy.
Yeah, no information on who's printing, no information on who's fulfilling, and the deck is $30. So unless this is a licensed deck and that's why the cost is so high, fine. But even in a licensed deck, you want to use volume to offset your licensing cost versus per deck cost. That being said, have more information. Talk about who's printing. Talk about who's fulfilling. Make sure you have the licensing for this deck. And ultimately bring that price point down to like $15. $17
Agreed.
shipped. It's an interesting deck. I think people who like the video game are going to like it, but that's pricey. That's super pricey. And especially for that goal, like, how are you charging $30 and still need $15,000 to print? Like, are you hand printing these on a Gutenberg Bible press? Like, I think he may need to reconsider some parts of the campaign. And I think just based on what we saw here, in reality, it looks like there isn't necessarily the amount of research that should go into a campaign before it launches. So I'd say if this doesn't fund, take it back to the drawing board. Look at reputable printers like USPCC or Carnemundi. Look at fulfillment agents in the countries that you're looking to fulfill. Reconsider that goal and help you bring the price point down so that people who enjoy this video game Persona 5 will be able to back this at a reasonable cost. So
and take those pips off the back of the cards. I mean, on the back of the cards.
Yeah, it's super weird.
It'll be way more appealing to a lot of other people.
Yeah, I mean, unless that's like something direct out of the game where that's the nostalgia aspect, but like, yeah, it's based on the flying.
It makes it a one-way design.
Yeah, and it's just it looks weird, but I mean, to each their own on that one. But yeah, I think there's a lot to this campaign that needs to be fixed up. So good luck, Melvin. So Steve, your favorite part? What are you backing this week?
What?
What are you backing this week?
Let's see. I'll back the Legacy of Ledger Domain. Leader Domain?
Sure.
Leader Domain? Sure, that one. Go down. I'd back that one. The Jackalope's a cool deck. I think that, Onda I'd back. Obviously, Satellite I'd back. I think that's it for me, man.
So I'm going to run through this real quick, but then I realized we missed a deck, so we'll do a quick little insert here. So I personally like the Oxalis. I think the price point got brought down nicely. I like where it's at. I like the quick draw a lot because of the message behind it, but I kind of dig the G.I. Joe vibe to it. I like the Legacy of the Ledger Domain as well. And the Onda deck. Hands down, the Onda deck, yeah. So let's check out...
Don't forget the Satellite.
Oh, and Satellite, yeah. Hands down, back in Satellite, just because I think the fan on this thing, for me, it's a limitless fan, so...
Yeah, right.
I love it.
That's true.
Yeah. All right, let's check out Drink Kings real quick, too, before we sign off here. So, Drink Kings playing cards. Eric, designer living in Sweden. Interesting deck. I kind of dig the style of the deck, I'm not going to lie. I think it's very simple, but in a fun way. It kind of reminds me of like what you'd see with some of those 8-bit decks where it's very simple. But what's the... But it's a $26
I could
deck.
see this playing, like getting it for... I mean, first of all, it's way too much money. But I see it like using it for drinking games.
Yeah. It's a fun little deck. It needs a lot more information. We need to know who's printing it. We need to know who's shipping it. Ultimately, though, the $26 price point's a no-go. But I kind of dig it. It reminds me of a game that I used to play on my cell phone called Tiny Tower. Something about the colors and the people. I don't know why. Kind of nostalgic to that, so maybe that's what's winning me over. But I think the deck definitely needs some work to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good luck.
So, thank you everyone for tuning in this week. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Drop a comment
And ring the
below.
bell.
Yeah, ring the bell. Drop a comment below. Let us know what cards you're going to be backing this week. We're always curious to see. Also, if you're a creator and you're doing merch, please let me know in the comments how your merch turns out, because I'm always curious to see how well putting shirts and hats and things like that actually goes with a campaign, especially on a first creators campaign. Yeah, but make sure to check out these
Awesome.
Kickstarter recaps every Monday.
Thanks. Peace.
Peace.